Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which the business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Belvidere Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted with the Star Ledger and the Express Times and submitted to the town clerk of the town of Belvidere on January 7th, 2019. Should that be 20?
No, when she actually
Okay. Pledge allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll just go right down, right? Now, Shelley.
Mr. Blum?
Here.
Mrs. Pekina?
Here.
Mrs. Constantino?
Here.
Dr. Zuppet?
Here.
Mr. LeVar?
Here.
Mr. Lucas?
Here.
Mr. Matlock?
Here.
Mr. Mitchell? Mrs. Pell?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mrs. Stefan?
Here.
Mrs. Williams?
Here.
Okay, so we're going to do public participation. We've reached the point for public participation. Is there anybody in the audience who has anything they'd like to say?
Hi, I just had two things quickly. I'm president of Belvidere Recreation Committee, and we wanted to personally thank Adam Conti and the Belvidere High School Choir. We had them join us at our town tree lighting this past Saturday, and it was awesome. They did a great job, and we are looking to partner with them and continue with them year after year after. So that was a great job. Second, I know I brought this up before, but I wanted to bring it up again so that there was plenty of time in regards to field trips. Again, my one daughter, when she was in 6th grade, missed out on the Ellis Island traditional field trip. And I was just wondering if there's any way that if funding is an issue, I don't know what the reasoning was, but if funding was ever an issue, if there was a heads up that maybe parents could maybe get a chance to get involved, because I think a lot of us would like to try and support continuing those efforts. And that's pretty much it.
We'll look into that. I'll get an answer for the next meeting.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Judy, we're public participation. I know you just walked in. Go ahead.
I'll use the microphone. Just forgive me, I got hearing aids today for the first time, so I may be shouting, I don't even know it. Just a suggestion, I'm Joe Roth, I'm on the town council and also a resident of Belvidere. Just something I've been thinking about for the past couple of weeks, especially since the last meeting here. You know, as Councilman Tucker and I are the liaison with the school board, and we also liaise with other entities around the town. And it just strikes me, and I'd like you to consider possibly appointing one of your members as the liaison in reverse. I just think it'll go a long way to help the communication, help get things done, and allow things to take place maybe that don't require all of your attention and time. At your last meeting, we talked about a few things, lighting in the back in the basketball courts, and a few other things. Maybe caught you a little bit by surprise. Had we had somebody appointed, they'd be at the council meeting, they would have heard it at the same time we would, and give you a little advance notice, and maybe they could bring some issues to the table more clearly. Also, I work with the JCP&L as a liaison, and both the chief of police and the mayor have mentioned to me a couple of occasions how concerned they are about the driveway going out here, especially before the leaves fall. In the evenings, how dark it really is. And there's a safety concern about that. And I had the JCP&L people come out, and we looked at the lighting here, and they've assured me that they have the brightest bulb that's possible under the sodium vapor light that's out there. There is one LED light that's brighter, but it is so bright that it would be, in their term, it would be shopping center parking lot bright, and that might be too much. But their suggestion was maybe trimming that one tree a bit more to get more light. Now, I'd like to talk to somebody about that.
Which
It's
tree are
not
you talking
necessarily the whole
I
group.
think you're talking like over.
Right as you're walking out, right as you're driving out the driveway here.
Out by the street?
Yeah, going out
That would be
there.
our tree though, right? That would be the
I
shade
think
tree
it might-
committee.
I guess
You
it's your
can't trim the
tree.
trees out there, so that would be the town.
Well, I don't know, and that's, but we should talk about that. You might love the tree and say, geez, I wish you wouldn't cut the tree. All I'm saying is there's issues like this that if you had a point person, you know, we could deal with, and it just, as I come to these meetings, these thoughts come to mind. So something for you to consider.
I
Thank
think
you.
it's a good idea. Anybody else? Okay, correspondence,
I don't have any.
none? Superintendent's report?
I'm going to just table the strategic plan conversation until the reorganization meeting. I know we're on a different time schedule tonight with the attorney interviews. It's actually interesting that you mentioned that, Mr. Roth, because I was going to talk a little about town council. I would like to be able to go to all the town council meetings, but they all conflict, not all of my Harmony meetings conflict with the town council meeting, so I can't get to every one of them, including this coming Monday, which I would have liked to have attended because I'd like to hear what the outcome of the conversation on the school budget was. So I don't know if anybody's going to go and would like to report back on that or represent us, but I agree with Mr. Roth. We probably should have if it's not going to be me, maybe a backup representative from the board. We do that in Harmony. We have a specific person that's the liaison to the town council and give a report back. So if anybody's looking to go to the meeting on Monday night, please let me know because I have my Harmony
Monday
board.
night?
The 16th, yeah. I missed the last Harmony board meeting to go to that town council meeting, so not gonna make it. Just a few things to mention real quick. Obviously, last week was our first snow day. I know some of the local districts today did go for a delayed opening. And I was in contact with Mr. Newman and Mr. Thompson and White and Hope, and we agreed that the roads seemed to be in pretty good shape, that we did not need to delay. I know some folks did do that. So as best we can, we'll keep going with the weather. Hopefully it won't be like last winter where we were pulling days here and there. But I do see some talk of a storm early next week, so we'll see what happens there. We do still have we had last Thursday, speaking of Mr. Conti, they had the choir concert. I heard it was outstanding. I wasn't able to make it. Tomorrow night is the instrumental concert, Mr. Z's concert, at 7 o'clock in the auditorium. And next Wednesday at Mr. Carabini's 5:30, that we do in the old, we were splitting the two concerts, so 5:30 and 7 for the elementary school concert. So get a chance, feel free to come on out. This Friday we have our 8th grade visitation. We're actually combining it with where we traditionally have our 7th and 8th graders from the sending districts come for a mini concerts. They get to see both in mini. This year we're extending that out to include our 8th grade visitation. Since they're all going to be here anyway, we're going to do that. And we are also looking at having further into the winter, closer to the spring, shadowing days where the 8th graders from each of the sending districts will come individually as one group rather than all together to shadow our freshmen, just to get a sense of what life is like in the high school. So we are looking forward to that. It should make for a fun Friday, a lot going on. And then I did want to mention, Don's not here, but tonight would have been his last meeting. 20 plus years of service. I think he certainly, and of course he's going to town council next, so trading in one bit of service for another. But Don certainly has done great things here in the district for as long as he's been here, and he will be missed. And he's already missed because he's not here.
Yeah, I miss it.
And just to wish everybody happy holidays, and I'm sure everybody, at least I know some folks out there are looking forward to next Friday at about 12:15. We're all happy. That's all I have today.
Okay.
Oh, I would like to ask real quick, and I thought I remembered it. We could table number 9 under personnel. Have some questions about that appointment that I personally need to get answered. So if we can table number 9.
Okay, you got it. Okay, so we'll start with policy. Can we have a motion and a second for agenda items 1 through 7?
Motion.
Second.
Well, any questions?
Well, what are we doing? We're reviewing it?
So first reading puts it out there. If there's any questions or concerns that you have for a policy, now is the time to get it, or between now and when we put it back up for adoption, which is the second reading, which will be at the reorganization meeting. You read through them, you see any questions, anything you need to get answered. Mr. Smith sent some questions along about 2 weeks ago. Somewhere on the HIB, which I know Ms. McKinney jumped in on, somewhere on some finance stuff, like Shelley jumped in on. So if there's anything you see and you need some question or clarification, let us know. Now's that
So
period.
if you
before.
have an issue with a policy and you want to amend it or look at it, who would be the person to speak with?
You'd send me an email or give me a call, just let me know what the concerns are.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, concerns? This is an all in favor, right? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay? Just any abstentions? Okay. First agenda item for personnel, items 8 through 12C. We have 3 add-ons, a 12A, a 12B, and a 12C, and we're tabling 9.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments?
We need to amend number 8. It's gonna be through December 13th, not the 20th.
Anybody else? This is roll call, right, Sal? All right, your turn.
Mr. Blum?
Aye.
Mrs. Patino?
Yes.
Mrs. Costantino?
Yes.
Dr. Sutton?
Yes to all except number 10, head baseball coach, Aaron Feldman. No on that.
Mr. LeVar?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Matlock?
Yes.
Mrs. Stell?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stefan?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
I am yes on everything. 10, Mr. Feldman, I'm abstaining.
Okay, so we'll move on to the agenda items for education. We have an add-in for 15, and we're on 13 through 17.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Let's see the quietest meeting ever.
Yeah, nobody's saying anything. That's because I'm not out there saying stuff. All right, business items,
You
8.
still can.
I know, but I can't wrap my head around both right now. 18 through 22.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? You should put all the stuff you wanted on tonight.
Should have redone my contract.
Okay, so that brings us to continuing business. Do we have any?
Well, I think I talked about was the strategic planning, which like I said, I'll go
Next
through
week.
at the meeting on the 8th.
Anybody else? Any
Yeah,
continuing business?
about the tablets or iPads down to kindergarten, did you look into
I
other
did.
districts?
I did. I apologize for not responding. 20 minutes a day for pre-K, half hour a day for kindergarten is what they use them for. Time they use them.
But the other districts in the area that use iPads down to kindergarten.
That I gotta get, yes. I did not get that. I apologize.
So pre-K is how much, 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
And kindergarten is how much?
30 minutes.
So does it go up in like first grade, second grade, third grade?
I can find that out for you.
Yeah, yeah, I'd like to know, middle school is considered sixth grade, correct?
Correct.
So I'd like to know K through 5,
You got it.
and then I'd like to know just like the test scores, which I'm still looking at and analyzing, but I'd like to know, what other districts are using iPads below middle school.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll get that info.
I have something. In the beginning of the year, we talked about problems with cafeteria, kids eating, not having seating. As a mother of a freshman who tells me, and I watch her account, that she doesn't have time to eat because the lines are too long, the lady shut the line, there's no food left. And yesterday I was traveling for work and I was at Quick Check getting gas, so I ran in to get my latte and I stood in line for 25 minutes because there were about 15 high school students that were at Quick Check. So of course, me, I questioned them and I asked them why do you come here? And they said that it's because the food's so awful and that there's not enough food And I asked them if there was a better program in the school, would you stay? There was 9 there. The 3 girls said absolutely. 2 of the boys said maybe, and the other one said, no, we just want to get out. I asked other places that they go. They're traveling to Chick-fil-A up, the new Travel Plaza. Starbucks is there. I just think that, and because I come from White and the food service there was bad and it's the same company. I think that there's other companies out there, and this is just something that I am somewhat of an expert on, that you could look into. There are other companies out there, and I think that we should look to what they can do and how they can help us in a better way. We are trying to consolidate services, and that could be one. They could have one person in charge of all of these districts, and have just cooks and servers at the schools, and a more educated professional that would be responsible, not just a dietitian that's sitting in their office. And I know that these women work hard. I've been in the business, but sometimes their heart's not in it because they're getting direction from above that is not always something that they can do. Less hours because you don't have the meal counts, so we're cutting people, use more commodities, and commodities are a great program. There's a lot of food that they can do with them, but they're not giving them the benefit. And I really think that having kids on the roads, and yesterday was a bad day, is just something that we will be liable for someday. Hopefully not, but someday it could happen. So I just think that in your cluster meetings, maybe you can all discuss it. I was just saying that my daughter was just complaining, but when they said that was the first thing out of their mouth. The food's awful there, we don't even eat. So.
I'll definitely think it's a great idea. I never thought of it from a consolidation point of view, but yeah, because maybe we can get some bids
right.
if we do that. So
I also heard from a parent on this issue. She expressed the fact that all the students are eating lunch at the same time, and there's long lines, and they're short on their lunch time. So it appears as if we have an issue here or a problem that needs to be examined.
Okay. I can tell you, I walk through the cafeteria usually halfway through, and there's no lines at that point. They're usually all gone. So I mean, I understand what you're hearing, but what I've seen, and Mrs. Stokes works here, so she knows, is usually within 15 minutes, there's nobody standing there looking for food. Now, I don't think they're out of food, but I don't know that for sure. I don't go up and check, but we can look into it. So we'll take a look. So.
Okay. Is that the same thing for the elementary school too? Because my son's mentioned a few times where the line, he hadn't enough time to eat too, and I've heard that from a few other parents too.
And some of the kids are eating at like 10 something in the morning.
That's normal though,
That's
especially
normal?
high school, yeah.
Okay. Let's see, lunch at 10:30 in the morning.
No, I know.
Half of them don't eat breakfast, so it's okay. They're hungry by then.
That's true.
I heard they're all eating all at the same time. True or
High school,
false?
yes, true.
High school,
Yeah.
but not elementary.
No, elementary eats, I think, 40 minutes earlier. I don't know. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I think it's 10:50. 10:50. And then high school is 11:42, 42.
I'm all in favor of, if necessary, spending more for better quality food. Regardless of.
You're not spending the money, though. It's the parents that have to spend the money. We don't spend the money. That's, something that.
We don't buy, yeah. We pay for the food.
We
when the
need to
kid
offer
eats.
better. I mean, it's like hospital food,
It's cafeteria food. It's going to be that. I mean.
Yeah, no matter
it's
no
gonna
matter
go,
how much.
We'll look into it. I like the idea of consolidation.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Maybe that would give us some buying power.
Yep, I agree. 100%. That's right, my next page.
Okay.
That's what I needed with
Yep.
if you
Yeah.
consolidate, it
It
should
might
go
help,
first.
yes. Yeah, maybe they'll get better food at cheaper price.
Agreed.
Any more continuing business? I guess we're kind of wrapping this into new business as well as we threw the cafeteria in there. So continuing / new business.
Under new business, I think it would be good for us to establish a building and grounds committee. Many issues that need to be dealt with.
Right now, it's finance/facilities.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's finance/facilities. Is adequate time spent on the facilities section, buildings and grounds?
The last couple meetings, that's pretty much all it's been.
So,
We just had a curriculum meeting. I don't know, Dad, if this is too soon for you, do you want to update them on what we talked about in curriculum, or you want to wait till the next meeting? I know we just had it.
Yeah, I'll put out some minutes.
Okay,
How's that?
that's good.
Okay.
Was there any other committee meetings that anybody should update anybody on?
we quasi met finance last week. It was an odd day because it was the day after the snow, so we had some people that couldn't make it. And we just were a lot of financial things, kind of in a general sense, but we really didn't have an in-depth conversation because we were missing most of the committee.
Okay.
So,
Is there another date and time yet?
not yet. I'm gonna work on that this week. I'm trying to decide if it makes sense to do it before or after we reorganize at this point. After, that would make sense. Change up the committees and do something like that. So.
Regarding Mr. Roth's comment about having a liaison, it might be beneficial for a student to also be there at the council meetings. They could learn about how government works.
Very good.
Okay, anything else? All right, we have an executive session, so I guess we'll do, right, so we'll do, I was gonna say we're gonna do public participation first. I'm going on the agenda, just explain it. So is there any other public participation tonight?
I don't know how much I can speak because I was told whether it's good or bad, I could get myself fired. But on behalf of the cafeteria for the elementary kids, I do agree. I know. The thing is we're serving by 10:50. That line's done by 11, and before I'm even done serving the last lunch, kids are already up and looking for their snack. They're not eating their lunch. So there's a mix mash of both because they have until at least 11:25, I believe, before the bell rings. I'm done serving the lunch line by 11, so they've got a good 25 minutes. Whether they're eating that lunch, I do agree, I believe it could get better. It could be better. But there's only so much we can do too. You know, we offer a variety of food and we keep telling them, you can pick 2 fruits, you can pick 2 veggies, and we've got a variety out there. We can't make them eat it, we can't make them take it, but my biggest thing though, I also wanted to ask was about open houses. Warren Tech had an open house, and I really was curious if the high school has their own open house available to show options such as electives or vocational classes that are available. Is that something that's offered or can be offered?
So you mean as far as parents or just for the students?
Parents and both. We did take our kids to the Warren Tech open house, and I don't know what's available through the high school, so I would love to know that before.
Yeah, we had done that in the past, and we seemed we sort of skirted away from that, but maybe it's time to bring it back.
Any other public participation tonight? Okay, so we're going into executive session.
I messed up, I have one more question. Can I ask
No,
a question?
not now. I'm all good.
But we're here late, Diana.
So my daughter in preschool told me yesterday, and I don't know because she's 4, so this could be not true or exaggerated, but she said Mr. Bartow came in to discuss behavioral, whatever you want to call it, in the class. Was that true?
It's the first I'm hearing of it, but I can't confirm nor deny. I can find out.
Did he go, was that just one class he went to, or did he go and have a nice little presentation to all the classes? And this is something that we're trying to improve and work on.
I'll have to find out the answer to that. It's the first I'm hearing of it.
Because if that were the case, I'd be very happy
I'll find out. I'll get back to you.
if he's been put on that task.
Got it.
Thank you.
Anybody else forget anything? Okay, so we're gonna go into executive session, and we're taking action when we come out?
Yes, I'm HIB.
Okay. So, it is hereby resolved that the board will now go into private session to discuss HIB and attorney reviews. Okay, we have maybe 2 HIBs, I don't know. Any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public as soon as practicable. Minutes of the private session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board will reconvene in public session at the conclusion of the closed session. And how long you think? It's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be at least an hour.
You're gonna be quite a while.
An hour.
You have
Yeah,
to
half an
interview
hour.
attorneys, you know how long-winded they can be, right, Brian?
Mr. Cruz likes to talk, so we know he'll leave it for a while.
Motion.
Second.
All right. Executive session.
Donna's in here, can you sign?
Oh, my God.
Contract.
Some stuff, right? So we have
HIB.
3 HIBs we're voting, 2 founded, 1 unfounded.
Correct.
All right? So do we lump those together in one?
I think we can use the motion that's on there.
Okay. And then do we have to add one?
Because it's approving the October and November findings, and they include incident.
Okay.
We can make it incidents. Would
Incidents.
you rather?
So then do we have to add one for the,
No, 'cause
Attorney?
No, we'll do that in the January meeting.
oh, I thought we were gonna do it tonight. That was the whole point.
No, we always put the
It has to
attorney
be
on
on the
for,
agenda.
it's for the reorganization
add-
meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's for the
I just thought
reorganization.
I thought we were taking, so we could do it tonight.
Well, we just need to know which one to put on the agenda.
Oh, gotcha, okay. All right, so we're just gonna vote on one item. It's a, we had a motion and a second to approve the October and November findings with incidents and one without.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Nay? None? Abstentions? Done. Motion and second to adjourn?
Motion.
This next president.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. The best part of that.
We're gonna have to get a new hammer for next time.
She gets